Hi, this is Dr. Eddie Morgan over at Clovis East High School. Welcome to Homework Help. We're going to be looking today at Math 1's Worksheet 4.3b. This continues eliminating systems of equations. Usually this one's with applications. So remember, every problem on this Homework Help mirrors the problems on your homework. So if you have a particular problem, fast forward to that problem and this should give you the help to solve that one. Let's get started. Problem 1 says the photo studio offers portraits in 8 by 10 and wallet size. One customer bought 3 of them, 8 by 10s and 6 wallets, and paid $93. Another customer bought 4 8 by 10s and 3 and paid $84. They want to know what's the cost of an 8 by 10 portrait and what's the cost of a wallet size. So let's start. We have two items we're looking for. First of all, let's let X equal the number of the cost, the cost of an 8 by 10, and let Y equal the cost of a wallet size. So now we have two equations because we have two customers. So let's set up each customer. So the first customer bought 3 8 by 10s. So they would have 3 times whatever the 8 by 10s cost, and then they bought 6 of the wallets, so 6 times Y, and those added up to $93. The second customer bought 4 8 by 10s and 3 wallets, and that added up to $84. So there's our two equations. So now we want to look at it and see what can we change. What could we multiply one or two equations by to set this up for elimination? Now notice, if I looked at the x's, 3x and 4x, I would have to go with the Papa Bear because I'd have to multiply one by 4 and the other by like -3. But notice if I look here, I can do that by just multiplying the bottom one by -2. Notice that'll give me 6y here and -6y there. So let's rewrite the equations then. So now I have 3x plus 6y equals 93, and then down here make sure you distribute to everything including the other side. This is -8x and this is -6y equals -168. Now notice again, these now will be eliminated when we add them. So here we get 8 minus 3 is -5x equals, and we have 8 minus 3 is 5, 16 minus 9 is 7, -75. So now undo the -5 times x by dividing by -5, and we get x equals positive 15. So that means we've solved and said the number of 8 by 10s is 15. Okay. Now we just plug that back into one of these equations. So let's just start at the top here. So we get 3x, and we know now we're substituting x equals 15. So 3x plus 6y equals $93. So this is 45 plus 6y equals 93. Subtract 45. And we get 6y equals 13 minus 5 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 1, 18. Divide by 6. And we get y equals 3. Right? So our answer here appears to be 15, 3. Okay, that would be 8 by 10s cost $15. Wallets cost $3. Problem 2 is an error analysis. It says a student solved a system of equations by elimination. Describe and correct the error. Now notice, here's where they're working at, this solution, and they decided to work on the y's. So they said, what can we do here? So they multiplied this one by 3 to get 12y, and they multiplied this one by 4 to get 12y. And what they're going to plan on doing is subtracting the equations, not adding them. And so a good strategy. And notice here, 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 4, 12. 3 times 6, good. 4 times 5, 12. 4 times 3, 12, good. But here's where they made the mistake. They forgot to multiply the last one by the number. So they left it as minus 3 when it should be minus 12. In other words, if they had done it correctly, they would have had 15x plus 12y equals 6. And here they would have had 12x plus 12y equals minus 12. That's the error right there that they made. So let's do what they were planning on doing. Now they were deciding they're going to take everything negative and subtract it. You can do this. I don't usually teach it this way because students can make a mistake when they're subtracting negative numbers. But 15 minus 12 is 3x. 12 minus 12 is eliminated. And 6 minus 12, remember we're 6 subtracting minus 12, is adding 12. That becomes 18. So when we divide by 3, we get x equals 6. Now we plug back into one of the equations. And so we have 15 times x plus 12y equals 6. So this is 15x. Oops. Let me back up here a minute. Forgot to put in this is 15 times 6 plus 12y. And so 15 times 6 is going to be 90 plus 12y equals 6. And so then we would subtract 90 and we would get 12y equals minus 84. Divide by 12. And we would get y equals y is going to equal negative 7. So the solution here would be 6, 7. But again, the error was when you multiply one of these equations by a number, you got to multiply everything. Okay? And their mistake was they measured everything but that and last the constant on that right side. Common error. So let's watch out for it. Problem 3 is a word problem. It says that half a pepperoni pizza, half a pepperoni plus 3/4 of a ham and pineapple has 760 calories. 1/4 of a pepperoni and a whole one, ham and pizza, have 730. How many calories are in each kind of pizza? Well, we set up our variables first. So let's let x equal the number of calories in the pepperoni, and let y equal the number of calories in the ham and pineapple. So we have two different orders here. It says in the first one that half a pepperoni, so 1/2 x, plus 3/4 the ham and cheese, the ham and pepperoni, ham and pineapple equals 760. On the other hand, 1/4 of a pepperoni plus a whole ham and pineapple equals 730. Now, here's what I would recommend for some of you who have fraction brain freeze. Already your brain's starting to freeze up because you see the fraction. Let's just get rid of the fractions. Notice my common denominator would be 4. So what I'm going to do to this thing is I'm going to multiply this one by 4 and this one by 4. What that does is wipe out my fractions. 4 halves. 4 times a half is going to be 2x. 4 times 3/4 is 3y. And I end up with 4 times 760. And that's 3,040. Now that number gets big, but at least we don't have fractions. Okay, 4 times 1/4 is 1x. And 4 times 1y is 4y. And that's going to equal, let's see here, 4 times 730. 2920. Now it's easier for us to pick out what we want to do. If we pick the y's, we would end up with having to do a daddy bear. But notice here on the x's, If I multiplied this one, bottom one by 2 and negative 2, I'd have what I needed. So let's do that. We're going to multiply this one by negative 2. So when I rewrite the equations, my top equation, 2x plus 3y equals 3040. My bottom, remember to multiply everything, is minus 2x. Minus 2 times 4 is minus 8y. And minus 2 times 290 is going to be 0, 4. 2 times 9 is 18. Carry the 1, 5, negative. Now you see when we add them up, that's eliminated. So I have 3 minus 8 is negative 5y equals 5840 minus 3040 is equals negative 2800. So if we divide by negative 5, we find that y equals 560. So that means the ham and pineapple pizza has 560 calories. Now we need to take this and put it back into one of these equations. All right? So we could either put it into the fraction equation, or if it's easier for you, we could put it in the one we multiplied by 4. So let's do that. So I'm going to put it into this equation. So I have 2x plus 3 times y, and we now know y is 560, equals 3040. So we have yx plus 1680 equals 3z40. So let's subtract 1680. And we get 2x equals 3040 minus 1680 equals 1360. So divide both of those by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And we get that x equals 680. So we could say that pepperoni has 680 calories. Ham and pineapple has 560 calories. All right. This problem says to solve this system using any method. So I could use substitution, I could use graphing, I could use elimination. But when I look at it, it's obvious what I should do, because notice here, this one is already solved for y. Okay? So since it's already solved, I'm going to take this and just put it into y. So let's do that. So I'm going to have 2 times, and then my y is 7.5x plus 3x equals 36. So 2 times 7.5 is going to be 15x plus 3x equals 36. Combine like terms. We have 18x equals 36. Divide by 18. And we have x equals 2. Now we plug that back into the equation, and we have y equals 7.5 times x, but we already figured out that x was 2. So that means y is going to equal 15. So our answer is 2, 15. And again, we use substitution because this one was already solved for one equation, one variable. So we might as well just go with a substitution. Could have done elimination, could have done graphing, but that looked the easiest to us. Problem 5 asks this question: what do the substitution method and the elimination have in common? Explain and give an example. Well, what they have in common is they both result in changing two equations in two variables, like two equations with x and y's, into one equation with one variable. Okay? And usually when you're looking at what you'd like to solve, like the one equation we just did, the one we just had something like the y equals 2x, and then 2x plus 3y equals 6. Well, it was easier to look here and just go, okay, so let's take this and plug it in for y, so that we end up with 2x plus 3 times 2x equals 6. And notice now we have one equation in just one variable. When we see this, it's easier to use substitution. Other equations, though, if you have something like this, 2x plus 3y equals 8, and then you have something like, let's say, minus 4x plus 2y equals 16. Here, if we wanted to solve for one of these, it would do a little more work. We'd have to move one over and divide. So it's not as easy to substitute. But we could look here and go, oh, look, 2x and 4x. If I just multiply the top one by 2, then I would have 4x plus 6y equals 16. And then our other equation, minus 4x plus 2y equals 16. When we add them together, that's eliminated, and we end up with 8y equals 32. And now, once again, I have one equation and one variable that I can solve. So they both end up leading us to one equation and one variable. And you just have to look at it to see if it's easy to substitute, do it. Otherwise, use elimination. Number 6 is a geometry problem. It says that each of the squares in the figure shown at the right has the same area. So these 3 squares each have the same area. Likewise, each of the triangles have the same exact area. The total area of figure A, however, is 146 centimeters squared, and the total area of B is 172. So let's start by letting x equal the area of a square. And we'll let y equal the area of a triangle. Now, if you look at figure A, we can write this equation. There's one square, so x plus 4 triangles, 4y, equals 146. B, on the other hand, has 2 squares, so 2x plus 2y equals 172. Now, as we look at this, I'm looking at my x's here, and I realize if I were to let the first equation multiply by minus 2, I would end up with minus 2x and 2x, which could then be eliminated. So let's do that. So this equation becomes minus 2x minus 8y, remember to multiply everything by that, equals negative 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1, 9, 292. Then the other equation we didn't change. So now this one gets eliminated, and we end up with minus 8 plus 2, or negative 6y, equals negative 120. Divide by negative 6, and we have y equals 20. So the area of the triangles is 20. So let's plug it back into one of these equations. We'll start with the first one. So x plus 4 times 20 equals 146. So x plus 80 equals 146. So we subtract 80 from both sides. And we get that x equals 66. So the area of our square is 66 square centimeters. And the area of the triangle is 20 square centimeters. All right. Hope you have a good night with the rest of your homework.